Just getting it set up on the back end. For some reason, I always have to start it twice. So I don't know why, but it works the second time. And looks good. Yay. Oh, the kitties are out. Don't let my real kitties see this. They're gonna think that they are taking over, although I think we all know kitties kind of rule the kingdom. Yay. I can't believe these kitties. Like, they turned out so nice. Oh, it's dark. They look different in the dark. That one is way sparklier in the daytime. Yeah, glowing eyes would be cool. Okay, just going to make a few final invites. Big day for announcements. Like, really cool to see everybody see on Decentraland on the Epic Store. I think it's kind of confusing because we were there a long time ago, but we were there for like kind of just to show interest, I think, and then like possibly get like the real deal like we have now. The way I understand that. Could be wrong. All right, one second. I need background music that's like I was gonna say duty free, but not duty free. License free background music. All right. Hello, hello. Oh, good to see you guys. I'm gonna make sure that the screen works, and so I'm gonna teleport away. Look at how cool this is on the ground. You can see where all of the meteorites were for this last week. Um, but now they're gone. Sadly, when I redeployed the Cantina build, they all had to go away. So I wish we could keep bits and pieces. Like I wish we could keep those up in the air without totally having to rebuild the whole scene. All right, I see the screen now. For some reason, you just have to leave and come back, and that usually does it. I am going to sip my coffee because it's still early. And Empress Trash, oh my gosh, Empress Trash, I have to throw hearts at you. Welcome. It's so cool to have you here. I see you may or may not have bought some land. Um, it's on the marketplace, so sorry, I feel like a stalker then. Like, oh, I see you bought land, but in the marketplace it shows like what people, like what wearables they bought, what names, and it shows land. So I did see. Congratulations, like coming in strong. And if you haven't built before, like the Creator Hub is a great place to get started. So let me know like if they're like these classes are pretty chill. I try to always have something to focus on like otherwise the sky is the limit. But if there's something specific that you are like, hey, I need to build a moving tramway on my land, let me know. Or if like I need to build the coziest coffee shop in the world, and like we can tailor the class just for that. Yeah, and being a landowner, that's awesome. Carrot, I'm so glad to see you too. You have been coming for so many of these. And Fred, hi. And don't forget the OP badge. You can grab that. Sorry, Fred, I missed your kids. You can grab your OP badge right over here. I did have to put it back here. Just yeah, coding things in the scene. So just click that, and that will give you a attendance badge for coming today. And then if you collect a bunch of them, a lot of times I have little secret rewards for you. Oh, I see. So you have a space interview at the same time. Yeah, it's busy like that sometimes, Empress. It's like, oh, how do you fit it all in? But I really am grateful that you're here for a little bit of it with us. Appreciate that. Like you could be anywhere in the world, and for you to be here, it's like, thank you. Um, so these, oh good. Spindle says it's sounding good on Twitch. Okay, well it must not be me then if it's sounding good. No, I'm kidding. All right, I'm gonna jump over to Blender. And just to kind of explain, like the Builder Basics, this class hopefully is for new users. We, I'm doing more in Blender just because Blender is the way. Like if you want to build really cool stuff on your land, eventually Blender is like the way that you're going to want to go. Um, so hopefully it won't be moving too fast. Yeah, excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. I had a cold, I got over it, and then I got another cold because I traveled last week, and so I hope I don't cough too much. Okay, so getting started, I'm going to jump right in because I try to keep these to 1 hour. If you have questions, I'll look through at the chat at the end and answer any questions I have. First thing in Blender, I'm always going to have people check what version are you on, 4.4.3, just because if you're on an older version, what you see is different than what I see, and that might be kind of confusing. So first thing I do when I get here, I hit A for everything, for all, and then I hit X. I'm going to delete it because I don't know why. Even if I need a cube, I just like, I'll literally delete that one and just add a new one, just because I'm like, I don't know, like, I don't know why, just because I am like that. I'm going to get rid of that. And then in order to keep my brain from going nuts in this madness, I have to put something down. I have to put a floor down because otherwise my brain won't know if I have one parcel of land. Is it like 1 square? Is it like 9 squares? How big is it? So in Decentraland, all land is 16 meters per parcel. So to start my workspace, I'm going to hit Shift A, and that just brings up this addition. I'm going to hit plane. Then before I touch anything, I'm going to go down here and just change this to 16. So that right there is one parcel of land in Decentraland. My brain will go nuts if I don't have something like this to kind of keep it, keep it in line with. And then if I want to say, hey, I want to make like a big scene, I might just start duplicating these and just make a big scene. And for today, I think that's what we're gonna do just because I want to add elevation. One thing about Decentraland that you'll notice is everything is flat. Everything is like down here at the bottom. And there's very few hills. I wish they would have put natural hills in when they created Decentraland and lakes and, good stuff like that. But they haven't. And so in order to get like a good hill, there's a few ways to do it. I'm actually going to jump over here to one of my old favorite places. It's not my favorite place anymore, but it used to be, and it's because they didn't upgrade their textures. So if you were going to do something and have like a white scene, this is perfect. But the reason this is like kind of a cool thing to look at is this is a way to solve the terrain problem, to solve the height problem. They just literally made a mountain and just made a wall. um, they didn't care who's looking at their wall. And then because of that, this scene, it's in Dragon City, down here in the southeast part of the map. But look at what they were able to do. So this is a scene that was built in the old SDK 6. And so they didn't migrate their stuff over, which means it kind of broke all of their assets. So there should be nice textures on these trees. I mean, this was literally one of the most beautiful places in Decentraland. So it's sad that they did not keep it up. But it's a really good example of like what you can do with terrain. There's stairs and little like even spots to sit. I think we don't think about it enough that in the real world we have hills. Like depending on where people are from. I'm from Wisconsin originally, in the middle of the country, and so hills to us was like 1,000 feet. Now I live in Washington State, and now I eat hills for breakfast. Actually, no, they eat me. But like I live in the mountains, and so I have a much different viewpoint of like height. Ooh, I gotta plug my computer in. But this gets people up, gets people to the side. Look at this, how there's like that little secret way. I feel like we need to start adding more depth to our builds because not just for what we could see on the surface, but what we could have under this. This could be an entire village inside this place. I mean, it's huge, and so that certainly helps. Here we are running down the path. And yeah, I think you get the point. It's a really good spot. So you can look at this. Sadly, like I said, it's all white. As far as hills go and like natural topography, that is the best example, I would say, in Decentraland of like what somebody could do with hills. Ah, welcome, welcome, more friends here. All right, so most of us do not have an entire plaza to work with. We only have a little bit of land. Reminder, if you own your own Decentraland name, that's only, I think it's like $8 right now. That gets you access to an entire DCL world where you have like unlimited parcels to build on. I think eventually it starts getting really slow and laggy, and Lastrom found maybe some limitations, but you could build a giant seed. So I never like to show people something they can't build on their own, but you can build something really big there. Okay, so this right here, we're just going to start with the equivalent of about a 9-piece parcel. It like, they don't totally match up, but so if you went to put it on a 9-piece, you'd have to like minimize a little bit on the edge. But it's a good example to show you like how much. All right, so my favorite way to build, and everybody, might have different ways, is to use the icosphere. So if you hit Shift A, you're going to bring this up, and right here is the icosphere. I'm just going to do Shift to make it big. Now, if you look at the cantina, everything in the cantina is built with the icosphere, or like a cylinder. If you look at if you look at like the round things are cylinders, but all the rocks are all this one shape to start with. The ones in front that people are sitting on, those are really obviously like icospheres that I just stretched a little bit. And then the ones over here, you can see I like distorted them. They need a lot of help, I think. But yeah, the icosphere is perfect for just getting started with like a natural texture because it looks the most like irregular compared to a cylinder. If you were going to try to make a mountain or something out of a cylinder, that would be hard. So what I do is I just kind of shape it like that looks like a hill. What I want to do is make basically, let's do a road. Let's do a road leading up to a hill. Because I think that is a cool thing that we could have in Decentraland, like on your land, that would get people up above. It's always nice when you have a viewpoint, like that's really cool. And then you could put other stuff inside, like, ooh, look at that, a secret cave. So I like using multiple icospheres to kind of get the effect that I need. So a lot of times it's hard to break it away from like this natural, I don't know, like the icosphere look. Um, Shift D duplicates it. Now this guy, I'm going to kind of pull up. I mean, so right there, if you just deployed that, you could plop a little house on top. And that's what I used to do. I used to do it like this, and that was just like cool and normal. But nowadays, I want it to be a little bit more like, oh, I want it to look like my road actually belongs there. So one thing I'm going to do with my road first is maybe, because I got to figure out where is my road going. And I'm going to, instead of just making it like a thin road that I could just go on the top, so if it was like this, a thin road, then I'm really going to have to get this perfectly lined up. But if I have it a thick road, it's a little bit more forgiving. And I'll show you what that looks like when we get to that point. All right, so let's put some training guards on here. So I'm gonna mess with this object a little bit, and I'm gonna go into edit mode. So if you haven't gone into any of these modes before, edit mode is really nice for just being able to manipulate this object, whichever object you have selected. So I'm going to go to faces. I'm going to click the face, E to extrude. Same thing on this side, E to extrude. I just want to make like guardrails on this basically, because I think it looks more natural. So E to extrude, E to extrude. All right, that's my road. Back to object mode, and then put it down like that. Back to edit mode. There's a lot of like going back and forth to edit mode. Now I'm going to click these as I'm holding shift down. And right now my road could just go like that, but I want it to curve up and go up these mountains to kind of match with the terrain. So I'm going to hit E because E lets you extrude. And then I'm going to lift it up and then maybe make a little whoop like that way. And then this, for now, I'm just going to continue to do this, like a series of small adjustments to make this curve. Just to kind of see where my road is going to go once it hits this hillside. And this is what I mean by like making the road thicker. If I had a really thin road, I'd have to be making sure that my ground aligns to that. But as it is, it looks like natural. All right, so back to object mode. I can see how my road is going to kind of hit this terrain right about there. But look, there's like this mountain right in the way, or like a cliff. So I'm going to go into edit mode, and I want to grab, I can either hit the faces like this, and I could move the faces. But for this, I kind of like to hit these little corner widgets. So real easily, I can move that down. I could move these down. But then you can see it moves everything at once. And I kind of want this to look like this road was naturally like, maybe it was a footpath before they built it into a road. So what I'm going to do is try to give myself a little bit more edges to work with. So I'm going to start selecting all of these guys. And then I'm going to go to edge and then subdivide. So that just broke these in half. I'm going to hit undo so you can kind of see that. So there it is. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And subdivide turns it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Anyway, a lot of numbers. So now I can actually get in here and start really making it look like this path right here is the road. And then there'll still be kind of a hill on that side, because I think that looks cool. Like if somebody did that where the path just goes right up to it, I think that aesthetically is very pleasing and very realistic looking, because then it makes this part a little bit higher. Also, if you're building a game in Decentraland, like if you're making a UGC experience, if you're like, hey, I want to make, I want to really like see how far I can develop this, having like a game where you have to progress slowly, I think is really good. Instead of just like jumping everywhere, if they get to this point and they can't just jump up here, but they have to follow your path, then they have to complete the tasks that you put there. So again, I think like it's all about controlling the avatar where they go so that they're doing whatever kind of like theme or task that you want them to do. There we go. All right. So that looks much more like a road to me. This is literally like um, developing, maybe kind of like in the real world, but you don't have to be a mean like land developer to like take everything down. I just ruined that. If I did that in the real world, I'd feel so bad for the plants and the animals. So here I don't feel so bad. Progress is coming. All right. So I just get those guys again. Oh, that kind of looked cool. This is like, excuse me, like therapeutic. Like you could just kind of zone out. Um, just making it like twist and turn. Like I could at least. You know, the funny thing is about roads. Um, People don't make roads like that for cars to drive on. They make steep roads, but not like sideways roads. So I think that anytime that you have um, something where it's going to be too steep, just think about that because a cart, like a wagon, would fall off of it. Cars probably would be okay, but all right. That one might be a little hard to make that curve. Okay, can I make it? Oh, that's steep. I guess in the virtual world, you have to decide how many realistic physics are you going to like allow exist, or how many are you going to be like, nope, that doesn't mean anything to me. My carts are just going to roll off of it. All right, so I'm kind of getting into this right here. So either I have to go for it and just I could just build it into the hillside, but I do. Oh, that works. Let's see. I can get one more turn. All right, let's see what the next one looks like. Maybe that'll work. Oh yeah, that will work. Did you hear that, Wisconsin? Oh yeah, that'll work. I forget I'm by myself, and then I talk to myself like a weirdo, and then eventually I come back to Decentraland and there's a group full of people, and I'm like, oh, I forgot that I'm actually talking live. Okay, so there, that I'm gonna start making that back to norm, like back to like a horizontal plane. Ooh, that looks really bad. I don't like that. So I think there needs to be some level of wiggle. And then look, I could push this way closer. All right, I could sit here all day and nitpick this. I'm gonna try to move a little faster because what happens when you get to parts that you can't necessarily move in the same way? Let's see. All right, we'll just leave that. Right here. So you can see I this worked out really well. I made like a little cliff. You could even put a collider there to make sure that the users of your game cannot just jump up there and defeat the purpose. Maybe they have to go over here and pick up a crystal and deliver it to the end boss. But I want to make it so that this feels much higher over here. So I could go into edit mode. I could, start grabbing these little pieces. I could lift them up. I could lift them, push them down. But I can also go into sculpt, like a sculpt mode, which lets me do that kind of more organically. Like I don't know. I use like I sculpt stuff. I don't know if I'm a sculptor. I have sculpt in like college and high school. I don't know if that makes me a sculptor, but I kind of almost like this more than using the regular like edit tool. But it's kind of hard to see here. So if you do the wireframe, and I've got it on see-through, like X-ray, this kind of helps you see what you're doing a little bit. It doesn't necessarily give you like a real-time view. It's still very two-dimensional, like very flat. Um, and because I have given this no texture, the regular, this one's not really going to help much. If I did have texture on that, I would probably be using that because if I'm adding like a rock texture, I want to make sure it looks good. So I can really make this like cliffside that this is like a castle. So, and I'm sorry, I have to make stories. These people built this castle and they were under siege for many years. And so they wanted to make it safe. So that's why they made it like this so that anybody coming into their village they could attack them. Like obviously it's they could stand up here and shoot arrows down. What a good way to keep the kingdom safe. They could pour boiling oil on their head. I mean, yeah, that got dark. But that yeah, that's just history. Okay, so you can see how that also is another way to kind of make stuff look really good. Okay, so you can see me like trying to grab this here, and I'm like wanting to make this really detailed, and it's not really going to happen because if you look at the amount of vertices, like the amount of different uh, angles, I subdivided these so I have way more just in this section, but the rest of these I didn't. And when you're like when I'm making a rock or mountain, something like this to work with, I actually would prefer not using the regular icosphere that they give you. I'll show you what I mean. If you shift A, you add a regular icosphere, and if you come down here, it's going to say 2. And that's what I've done for each of these. Like the first 2 that I put, there's 2. But I'll tell you what, if you hit this number up to 3, first of all, your triangles are going to go through the roof, but you're also going to have way more different little spots to start moving your piece around. So if you can see the detail just in these, for this one triangle here, you just got 4 triangles there. So basically did what we did over here, but to the entire piece. So I think the cantina is made, I think I made it, excuse me, out of a piece like this. It's going to give you so much more leeway to work with. So now if I come over here, same sculpting tool, and I start trying to bring this up, that's going to look way better. I just have more to work with. So let's see. The other thing about using icospheres or whatever you're going to use, unless your storyline, like I made a very clear story, like this is carved into the hillside, it matches completely, it was a footpath before they paved it, like that makes sense that there's a really sharp edge right there. But right here, there's no reason, like that's not how geology works. Most of the time, you don't just see a mountain coming out of nowhere. If you do, it's like a very significant landmark, like Ayers Rock or the Devil's Smokestack or something. So, like, I think humans, we want things to make sense in our, like, to our normal life. Like, if we see something that's really, I don't know, just like protruding like that, we're just gonna say, oh, it's okay. Like, they didn't do it in Blender. So we want to make sure that we can trick the human part of our brain into Decentraland. That's like, oh no, that's not like uh that's not an accident. They meant for it to be like that. So there we go. Okay, perfect. I see a little rock slipping through there. Ooh. Okay, see, I'm moving that and it's not moving, and that's because I have this rock selected. But in order to move that, I've got to go select this one, go back into sculpting, sculpt mode, there, and then I can get rid of those guys. That one, maybe not. He's just being annoying. Oh well. All right, so that is much more normal. And I think like hills, depending on where you are, like a hill to one person is a mountain to another. So if you're going to put this on your scene, maybe just think about like how the building fits into it. I really think, I don't know, I'm like, I really want to put more uh, topography in my scenes because I think we need that. There. Okay. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, that's the rest of it is figuring out like how are you going to, I don't know, like fit it on a 9-piece parcel of land because you could see if this was really going in world, I'd have some issues right now. But what I can do is try to get this moved over, or I could just cut it. If I just want to add a cube, oh, I don't know if I should be in that mode. If I just want to add a cube, I could go over here, just like I did, like I showed you at the beginning in China District. This is what they did. They didn't even try to hide it. They just were like, we're making a wall. It's going to make sense to us. It's going to look really obtrusive to everybody else. And that's one way to do it. So if you click on your object that you want to keep, always click on that one first. Crescent wrench, add modifier, generate, boolean, eyedropper, your cutting tool. Ah, I missed it. Look at, didn't have it far enough. Okay, I'm going to undo that and then I hate that. I still do that all the time. Okay, again, click the item you want to cut. It already did all that. So now eyedropper, your stencil, arrow, apply. And then get rid of that. Okay, so there's a solution. If this is going into Decentraland and this is your neighbor, then they might be like, thanks for the wall in front of me. But you can also still kind of naturalize this uh, without too much effort. Yeah. It kind of shows up like really it looks bad right here to us, but if you put a rock texture on this, it wouldn't look as bad. It wouldn't look as unnatural. So there. That's pretty good. It's going to keep you within your 9-piece. And then it also cuts off over here. For this, I would go into X-ray mode. I would try to eyeball it, and then I would just like click all that and then go in. This is how I did most of the cantina. You just grab it and put it in. There you go. So there's different ways to kind of keep your mountain in bounds. This guy, what are we gonna do? This one, let's see. So I could just move it independently, like 1, both of those guys, 2, 3. There you go. You don't want things hanging off the side. One thing I learned, sadly, is like there's bounding boxes, and this is like I bring it up nonchalantly, but this is actually it's given me so much grief. Is that with these icospheres? I will actually just show you. I'll try to show you a for instance. Like if I add this icosphere, um, and I try to put it in world, there's going to be basically a barrier around it, kind of like that. So it'll show up as out of bounds. Um, if you rotate it. This is the weirdest thing, okay? So this is what Cantina, like, drove me freaking nuts, okay? Because I'd have this beautiful, you know, icosphere, and it would be within the bounds, if this is like the boundary line, like that. But the boundary box was showing up like this. At one point, I was so mad. I was in like, this was 2 years ago, but I was in like help desk, the channel, being like, I literally had a parcel and a half extra, but it was it would not let me deploy because back then it was very hard fast. Like if you were out of bounds, it would not let you deploy. Um, so I was like, I had 15 parcels of land. I was like, I should have bought more land if I would have known that I would need a parcel and a half just for the bounding box. So If you add a icosphere, and you will never ever 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 probably see me rotate an icosphere unless there's like a threat involved to bodily harm. I'm so traumatized. So I do not like if you do that, like boop, nope, done. Go home. Delete the thing. Just for some reason when you rotate it, it changes that boundary box. If you don't rotate it, you're okay. So I will do stuff like I would rather just sit here and retool it, like if I had this and I wanted, let's see, if I had this right here and I wanted the same thing over here, instead of duplicating it and then rotating it, nope, I would duplicate it and then just resize it. It might be different, but long story short, if you find yourself unable to deploy because it says you're out of bounds, it might be that. I know Rustan, I think, told me that last slice ran into that issue when they were working on the Snapple build, that there's just something funky about rotating, um, excuse me, shapes and just being out of bounds. So, no bueno. Um, that seriously caused me so much grief because I just thought I thought that I bought all that land for no good reason. Okay, let's see. Let's put that all in. Okay. Now I don't want to go too far. Like I can kind of go like this much, but if I start going, let's see. This might be a good one. If I start pushing this in too far, right here, I'm eventually going to start flipping my faces. Okay, so right down here, I see it happening. I believe. And then that is how you get weird stuff happening. Oops, weird stuff. This week it happened in the meteorite build where I think Lovely got trapped in like the floor, and I think this is what happened. I'm trying to find a good spot that I know this would happen. So basically, like, yeah, there it is. Okay, so imagine, trying to think of how to explain this. Imagine this is made out of paper, right? Like an origami rock, and then right here, if you watch, when I push it down, something happens right there, and it's because I'm pushing it so far that it's no longer surface level. It's broken that part. It's like gone inside out. So if I deployed that, my guess, a very strong guess, is that would trap somebody. You could weaponize this. You could make it like, yep, here you go. But also, if you had a texture on this, it would look bad. Once you start messing with this, good luck, Chuck. You're not gonna fix it. I will jump back to Cantina. Hello. And show you my bad workmanship right here. This is what I'm talking about. All that mess up there. You can even see like, well, that flicker is different. Oh, let's see if I can get up to the second level. I might have, oh yeah, oh look at that. This is what I'm talking about. This is because I cut parts of the rock and then I kept going. And so these are the parts of the build that are like, I'm like, no, they're so bad. I bet I would get stuck if I got in here too much. Oh, no. Okay. All right. See, I got stuck. This is like a perfect example of these planes. I don't know if I'll be able to get out of here, but you can see, and I did this on, oh gosh. How's your class going? Great. I'm stuck in a wall and my hands apparently are broken. Yeah, this is all I did this on purpose. I just shoved everything down here so that it looked okay-ish from the outside. Right here, you can see these planes that I'm telling you about. because I stretched the original model so much, I've got these weird things going through there. So if you ever get stuck, oh no, I can't get out. If you ever get stuck in somebody's build, that's probably what happened. Oh gosh, can I? Help? Um, so if you want to make an escape room, or like, oh my gosh, turn this into a spider web build, and then like you get stuck, or Vecna, Stranger Things, you get Vecna'd into the wall. It would be perfect then. So I think as a builder, this the cantina, I love the cantina, and you can kind of see in the walls, but like the original version, I've changed multiple times to fit stuff in. So the original rocks are kind of a mess. Like I really need to go through and just clean them up because otherwise this is the kind of stuff that happens. So let's see if I can get out of here. Yay! Okay, I'm not stuck. Those are the walls of doom in the cantina. So, um, I think that one spot is pretty much the worst. So don't go exploring too deep, or you might find out the hard way. What that is. So yeah, um, watch out for those in your build. You do not want to start doing this kind of stuff. The best way I can explain it is just paper. Like you don't want to turn the paper inside out. Um, Almost like scrapbooking paper. I don't know if anybody was in the scrapbooking craze like I was, but like you would go find scrapbooking paper that had like two designs. Like one side of the paper had, pretty butterflies. The other side had like purple flowers that the butterflies could sit on. You don't want your viewer to ever see the other side of the paper. You want to leave it like that. Okay, there we go. So let's see. Can we make our road? What time are we at? 9:41. Okay, we got 20 minutes. It would be cool to finish this road. Um, but now I'm like, oh man, we're not going to make that curve. And I'm kind of like, I know the today's lesson's about topography, but I do think anytime we can learn like extruding, like this tool, super cool. So it also looks really good when you finish this up, like this simple road idea, especially if you're doing like some kind of medieval, I don't know, castle. That's what I was thinking with this one. Is like a castle theme. Um, really, really is good for that. But I think we could do topography in anything. I'm actually going to try to do it in more of like a cyberpunk city aesthetic, which I know cities usually are not. They are not on a hill. But like I saw this funny thing about a New York driver in Seattle. Like Seattle closes with 1 inch of snow, and it's because it's built on a hill. And then you also think about like San Francisco. If you've ever seen San Francisco, good lord, it's on a hill. Like everything is on a hill. And so if we're making fictitious worlds, we might as well decide what kind of a world is it that we're going to live in. And I think that this topography, like the ability to go up, it gives us the ability to hide stuff underneath, which I think is really important when we're talking about like we want to go underground in Decentraland, but we can't. Yeah, we can. We just have to be smarter than the modeling. We just have to make it seem like you're on flat land, and then put the basement underneath. So there we go. We got a cool little rotation. And then this is what I meant by if you make your road really deep, like chunky, like this. I like chunky. I don't know. Then you can just easily hide this. I could make the ground come up to it, or boom, I'm done. Like I don't even have to think about it. And a wall would look like that. Like if this was a real medieval, road, it would really look like that. So there we go. And now this one, I can just go like that. And then if I want to go back down, grab that guy, and just push it down. Ooh, I lost shading. Okay. Yeah, so that kind of gives you an idea of how to make this work for you. Let's see, sculpting this. Well, let's see. If we bring it up, then it's going to look realistic, but then it's going to hide. It's going to hide the side of our like wall or our road, which might be kind of nice, kind of like that. Bring this side up. Try to. All right, let's see. So it's coming through right there, but I like having it exposed. So this is where sometimes it's easier just to like grab these little suckers and just push them down to where you can't see them. Or move it this way and hope I didn't break anything. um, yeah, more or less, that is a road. So now if I made a castle up here, it would be so easy to actually put a cylinder in so I can show us a castle. Looks like a water tank. Okay, so beautiful castle. Do you want to see how to make a castle super quick? So cool. All right, let's see. I'm just gonna extrude up, and then how did I do this? Oh, I'm gonna click here, hold down the Alt. I don't know why sometimes it doesn't do it all the way around. I want it to go. So there we go. Okay, so holding down Alt should, in theory, select all of those. And then I'm going to hit extrude. Oh, what is that happening? All right. Sometimes I glitch out. All right. All right, that's one way to do it. Now I'm going to just hit every other one of these if I can. And then just extrude and boom, I have a castle. Castle. Okay, so guys, this is 47 minutes of building and I already have a scene for whatever. If I want to make a game, if I want to make like an escape room and you got to make it to the castle, I could add a few things from the Creator Hub to gamify it. Oops, their bridge doesn't go to their castle. Let's get to the castle. It does not take that much to build. Like I swear, it helps to have done a lot of building, so like that makes it go quicker. But once you get to a point where you're building like proficiently, you can build stuff really fast. So don't feel like, oh, like I don't know, just you'll get there. You'll get there because then I can just like duplicate that. Maybe have like, I don't know, the guard tower down here. This, there, and boom, castle in 45 minutes. All right, so I'm gonna hide this guy. This is like the whole reason that we want to do land, topography, terrain, whatever you're going to call it, is that now I have all of this empty area to work with. So I could go in here and like make an entire dungeon, whatever, or like a different part of my game. And I could really just make this entire experience like below the surface that you don't even see. It's kind of stand there. Go. So the viewer, they might think, oh, this is just a simple scene. It's on 9 parcels of land. There's not much going on here. But what they don't see is that the game experience, going through the tunnels, maybe it's an escape room, maybe it's all sorts of different stuff. You've just hidden it all underground. Like you've literally hidden the mechanics of how it's going to work. So it gives you the ability to put more on your land than if this was just if this was just a 9 piece parcel of land and you put this castle right on the ground and like everything you're doing on the surface. I think we have to go under the surface, friends, in order to like I don't know, like proceed to the next evolutionary plane of Decentraland or something like that. Let's see. I'm gonna open. See if it'll let me open another session without deleting that. Yeah. Um. Okay. So like my what I want to do. This is a city. I literally built this in. Oh, what is it doing? Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't know what it's doing. Maybe it's dying. Okay. It would make sense if it died on that one. That one is a really, really heavy scene. I don't know why it did that. Um, Let me try it again. Okay, so this is like a city. This is a cyberpunk city. I'm gonna try it again, but maybe it's gonna die. Nope, it's good. Okay, so I made this in like a day, and well, the Hex Club, we've done that one before. Um, but I can just use this and repeat and repeat and repeat. So what I've got this grid, it's like gigantic, which is why Blender doesn't like me. But I can just make city blocks and just keep adding them and make this place pretty cool. But what I want to do is add like a hill, and I don't know if anybody um, has seen the movie Big Hero 6. Well, it's a Disney movie. I don't know if it's a good movie. It's actually like really, really good. But the setting is a fictitious city called San Francisco. San Francisco. No, San Fran Tokyo. It's like half Tokyo, half San Francisco. And like San Francisco is a great city to use as his inspiration if you're like, yeah, I want a city, but I want it to be on like a hill. And so in my mind, I'm like, how do I make this? How do I make buildings go on a hill? Like a castle is they built castles on hills so they could like thwart enemies. So it's very, very logical that a castle would be on the hill. So the last thing we built makes perfect sense. They didn't build cities on hills because everything was much more difficult. To get water up there, to get any kind of food, you would have had to have like a cart. So traditionally, people are going to habitate places that are easier to live. So maybe if they were in like places that were attacked quite often, a hill would make perfect sense. There's entire cities on hills. But some places like San Francisco, they weren't being attacked, they were finding gold. And so it made sense that like it was a seaport, the train came through, and so they were going to build on the city. So if this is my city, and that's my road, I'm going to have to get that road up there. What I'm going to do is duplicate that, and then I'm going to do the same thing, try to make like basically a working road to show if this works or not. Like just for me, for can I do it? I don't want it to be too steep. Okay. All right. So like, oh my gosh, already I can see this going up, which makes me think we can have just like this is where the villains of the city might live, like down here. Like my mind's already going like, all right, I know where you villains are. I guess it depends on who the villain is. Maybe the villains are the people in the big towers. Okay, there's that. If you lose your shape, just go into like X-ray mode to find it. So here we go. I might make this hill a different color just because that gives it a little bit more differentiation to my eyes. Brown. Um, oh, my mouse is frozen. Oh no, I crashed it. Oh, let's see. Did it save? I don't know. Nope. I didn't save. Okay, this thing is huge, so maybe it's just not gonna let me do that. But I would okay, well, Blender. Okay. I let's see. Hopefully that's working. I'm just gonna wait for a second, let this catch up. Oh, maybe it's not working. Hold on one moment. I see the stream. Is the stream frozen in world? Let's see. It might be frozen. All right, let's see. Well, it might be time to wrap it up because I see it says only one instance of Decentraland is allowed to run. So I'm just gonna check and see if I'm dying. All right. Well, I think my computer, I don't know. Maybe let's see. Can I get back to you guys? It won't let me. Let's try to open two Decentralands. I don't want two Decentralands, just one. I'm trying to get back to you guys. It's like getting caught in the there we go. Oh, now I'm moving too fast. I want to start singing like an 80s song. A find my no, find my way back to you. Okay, that's from the 60s. Never mind. Uh, I don't want to start another one. Yeah, I think that's not a good sign that it like killed Blender and it killed everything else. So I'm just gonna shut down some other things. I'm still there, but it won't let me go to Decentraland. Hmm. Well, I am not sure. I think I'm not sure why it did that, but it apparently there's some disconnect between whatever I did in Blender, trying to load that giant scene, and then streaming. So I would probably end it here, but I'll jump in. I'll like restart my computer and jump in. So I don't know if people can hear me or not, but I will be back in. So thank you so much for listening. It is 9:57 anyway, so I will talk to you guys real soon and I'll jump in world. Bye.